Buddy, how's it going? The other week when I did the first installment for the metal lures, I realized that I hadn't quite finished the plastic lures. I'd actually forgot one, and it's the stick bait or the twitch bait. I'm sorry, I don't know why I forgot those guys, but we're going to do a quick video right now on that type of hard bait because it's May the 9th and it's snowing outside. That's right, we've got a polar vortex here, so no fishing today. But anyway, hopefully next week the weather's going to be back to normal, and kind of hoping that my next video is actually going to be out in the river. So anyway, let's talk about the stick baits, or the sometimes referred to as twitch bait, sometimes referred to as, mainly known as jerk bait. So let's take a look at what I'm trying to get across here. So these little guys here is what I'm talking about. Notice the profile of them. They are very minnow-like, and they have a very long body. That's where the name stick bait comes from. And they come in various sizes, and they have the usual hardware. They have their trebles. There's usually two affixed to it. And you notice that the clapper or the bill is quite small. In most cases, it's very small. Because this is a shallow running lure. Now you can get deeper running twitch baits. They have a bigger bill on them, which allows them to dive deeper. But in most cases, these will run in the upper level of the water column. So anywhere from 1 to 5 to 8 feet. And they are purely to mimic minnows that are swimming around in the upper level of the water column. Now minnows will come into the shallows in the spring and again in the fall. So this is the best time to use this type of bait. Now you can use it other times during the year, but it's probably more effective in the spring and more effective in the fall when the minnows are actually in the shallows. So minnows, when they're swimming around, they have a tendency to kind of, jump around and dart around. And take a look here. I'll show you what they look like. Look at them. They're all over the place. Those are minnows. And this is what this lure is supposed to imitate. And simply by taking your fishing rod and twitching it so that the top part of the blank swishes around and twitches around, you can emulate or imitate the way a minnow jumps around in the water. Okay, so that's where they get their name from, because they just imitate minnows. The best type of fishing rod to use for the twitch bait or the jerk bait is going to be a fast action blank. And the reason for that is because you don't want it taking too long to come back to a neutral position. You want the blank to snap back quickly so that there's less time between you twitching it and the bait reaction. It's the reaction time you want. You want to bring that down. So when you've got a fast action rod, that reaction time is a lot quicker to the bait in the water than using a medium or even a slow action fishing rod blank. Now I'm not saying you have to use a fast action. I'm just saying that because of the way the bait is supposed to work in the water, it's probably better to use the fast action. Also, the fast action rod is a lot more sensitive too, and that will help when it comes to using this type of bait. All right. Now, one of the problematic things about these baits is that they're light, so their castability is a little. You got to learn how to cast it. Again, that fast action rod will help you with that as well. They work very well on a casting system. You can use them on a spinning system, but they work very well on a casting system. You can be a little bit more accurate with your casting. But just remember, you're going to have to practice when you're casting these, because they don't go very far. They're not very heavy. They're very light. They are a positive buoyant lure. Some of them do come as a suspended or a neutral buoyancy lure, that they will sit in the water down at a certain depth and then go down to their running depth. But for the most part, these actually float. They come up to the surface. So they are very light. So their castability, you have to learn how to cast them properly to get them out where you want them to go. Okay? So that is your jerk bait. Very good for bait, for bass. Bass love jerkbait. Oh, another thing. So do seagulls. Because they run so close to the surface and they flip around the way a minnow does, it has been known for seagulls to snap up a jerkbait in the water. I've had it happen. And only thing you can do if the gull doesn't let go of it, if it's actually dug into their mouth, is to cut your line. Don't try and wheel it in. Okay, if that happens, just cut the line. Hopefully the hook will fall out, and hopefully though the gull drops it when it realizes it's not a real. In most cases the bird will drop it when it realizes it's not real. But I have had it happen. I've seen other people have it happen as well. All right, so that is a quick and dirty video on your jerkbait. So if you see these long, narrow, minnow-like, fish-like, minnow fish-like baits, those are stick baits, jerk baits, twitch baits, meant to be used in the upper water column. All right, and don't forget they're light, so their castability is not the greatest. You have to learn how to cast these ones to be effective. Great to use as a spring or fall bait when the minnows are in the shallows. All right, so okay, sun's coming out, snow's melting. Hopefully next week when I'm off work, I'll actually be out on the riverbank, and the next video will be me catching fish, okay? All right, until the next time. Thanks for dropping by. This is Sharon saying bye-bye for now.